Do y'all remember earlier in the season when the Bucks were struggling and Giannis just wasn't playing that well? His numbers were down. Dame, I think, was struggling to a point. The bench didn't look that good and people were coming for Adrian Griffin. And I remember people were trying to tell me the Bucks were not going to be that good of a team this year, and I said, don't judge a team within the first 10 games. I've always had the theory that you judge a team after 20 to 30 games, and that's the range that we're currently in right now. And as we can see, about a month or two later, the Bucks are currently one of the best teams in basketball, and if you ask me, I think they're the best team. Gentlemen, happy 2024. We got to talk about the future 2024 NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. I talked about this team a couple months ago, and it was more on a potential thing, but I think my theory has been proven. Milwaukee is going to do some damage this year. I want to start with the fact that Giannis is currently on an MVP run, and I've already made my video talking good about him, and I'm making a video within this week talking about the whole MVP conversation in itself. But as a little spoiler, I think Giannis needs to be considered in some way. Now granted, I know he's probably not going to win it because we all know the voters are not going to vote for him, but if we're going off stats and the way he's playing, you got to give it to Giannis. I feel like he's in that conversation. I know people want to talk bad about Giannis, saying that he wouldn't be the #1 option when Dame got here, but this is still Giannis's team. Giannis has been on one of the craziest stretch of games of basketball, and I think tomorrow they actually play the Pacers, and if you know anything about Giannis, he does not like the fucking Pacers. I genuinely expect Giannis to have like a 40 or 50 point triple-double, but I won't go too in depth about Giannis because I've talked about this man so many times in just individual videos, and I guess over the past couple years. Also, there is a 40-minute video out there. I'm not gonna say who made it, but there's a 40-minute video out there talking about how Giannis has done very well for the city of Milwaukee. So I guess the last thing I'll say about Giannis is this man is the key piece of this team, but y'all already knew that. Instead, I want to shift the focus to other things that a lot of people are not talking about. I think something I want to talk about is more or less a narrative that I've seen throughout the entire season, and it's that the Bucks should fire Adrian Griffin. I love that sports fans don't have patience anymore. Like, y'all will just not wait for things to develop. And I get it, maybe in sports like in the NFL where you only have 17 games and you don't really have much time to, I guess, grow as a player or coach. I mean, you could literally be a brand new coach and come in and you have like 1 to 2 years, and if you don't do something, you're out the fucking gate, man. But in the NBA, you do have 82 games to show yourself, and Adrian Griffin, he's coached for about 30 games for this Milwaukee team. And I remember within the first 5 to 10 games, people were saying, yo, this man should be fired. But I always thought that was fucking stupid, and we're starting to see that Milwaukee, they're finally coming together. At the time of recording this video, the Bucks have statistically the #1 offense in the NBA. I almost said NFL. Now, I'm not going to act like their defense is perfect because it's simply not. There are things that they can fix, but I feel like Adrian Griffin has done everything he's been able to do, and he's done it pretty well. And I think it's even funny that Bucks fans are now on Twitter, making fun of it, being like, oh, we're 11-1 in the month of December. Should we fire Adrian Griffin? Oh, we have the #1 offense. Should we fire Adrian Griffin? Like, everybody is now realizing how fucking stupid it was, man. Like, y'all waited 5 games and said, no, let's get this new coach out of here, when you have a completely different team. When Dame joined the Bucks, I feel like a lot of things changed for this team. The narrative about them possibly winning another NBA title, obviously the odds went up, and also I just think inside the team, the people are starting to act a little bit different. I feel like this team is more locked in and they're more together than they've ever been. They finally have a veteran leader and somebody that is desperate for a fucking title. Now, am I going to tell you that Adrian Griffin is the most perfect head coach? No, I'm not going to. For example, I do think Dame could be used a little bit more in the offense. I think maybe there have been certain situations where, they're just not using the right players for the right situation. But honestly, those are things that a first-year head coach for a team is going to do. Now, I know this is a Bucks video and I'm mostly talking about this team, but I want to talk about one team for a sec because I've seen so many people talk about them to demoralize the Bucks. The Boston Celtics. I'm just going to talk about them for a minute. But first, gentlemen, we are in 2024. Happy New Year, y'all. I'm uploading this on January 1st, and I just want to say, I appreciate y'all. I put a little, post on Twitter. I put something in my community post, but I appreciate y'all and all the support that we had this year. Now, with that being said, we're on the road to 50K this year. We're trying to hit 50K. So, of course, if y'all boys have enjoyed the video, leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Also, in the comment section, let me know what is a goal you're trying to accomplish in 2024. Also, my voice is a little messed up. I don't know. I think I have like a small cold coming. It's not that big of a deal, but that's why my voice is a little bit messed up. And also, I just want to say that I have a new series coming to the channel in 2024. I'm super excited to announce it very soon. We're working on a trailer right now for it, so stay tuned for that, but it's probably going to be on my Twitter, which by the way, make sure y'all boys follow my Twitter. All right, let's get back to the video. So a lot of people have been talking about Boston and saying they're the team to beat right now, which I disagree with. And yes, I will make a dedicated video to Boston, but all I'm going to say is I don't agree with the fact that people think Boston is miles ahead better than the Bucks. I think the difference between Milwaukee and Boston is that Boston is this really beautiful looking tower. However, all you need is one little brick to fall and this entire tower fucking crashes down. Like with Milwaukee, if Dame went down, I genuinely believe that this team is still a team that could win the NBA Finals. Obviously, they would suffer a little bit, but I think they're still contenders. If Jason Tatum goes down, I can't promise you this team contends the way I think Milwaukee can. I think Milwaukee has better depth than Boston. I think Boston is a good team, don't get me wrong, but I don't trust them come playoff time. It's the same reason why I haven't been able to get behind Phoenix this entire year. Now this Bucks team is great, don't get me wrong, but there's one move that I think if they were able to make, it would make this team the most perfect, put together, all around balanced team in the NBA. I think some Bucks fans know what I'm gonna say, but I want to see the Bucks get Alex Caruso, man. I don't care what the Bucks have to give up. I think this is a trade you have to make. But if you have to throw in Jay Crowder or Bobby Portis, who's had problems with the team this year, you throw one of them in or some picks. I do not care. I genuinely think Caruso is a player you need for the playoffs and someone that is going to succeed for you when it matters most. Now finally, I want to talk about Chris Middleton for a second, and shout out to Hood Genius because that's his quote unquote Pookie Bear. Real talk though, Chris Middleton has had an interesting bounce back year. I would say over this past 5 to 10 stretch of games, he's definitely gotten back to old Chris Middleton we all love. I'm not expecting Chris Middleton to be the second option of this team because obviously they have Dame and Giannis, and kind of like with Bradley Beal, for example, on the Suns, he's obviously their third option. I think Chris Middleton is one of the best third options you can have in the NBA. Of course, the stats aren't going to show up when you look in the game. I do expect Chris Middleton to still come up clutch like he has in the past. I mean, there is a reason why Milwaukee currently has the best offense in the NBA, and Middleton is a key reason to that. We know Giannis is good, we know Dame is good, we know Brook Lopez can sometimes provide on the offensive side, even though I'd say Brook Lopez's value is more on the defense. But having Middleton come back to his prime, I'd say, is very important for this team to succeed. I mean, there are very few holes in this team, and I talked about it, not even a minute ago, but I think getting a player like Alex Caruso or even another wing would really help out this team. And I know I haven't necessarily talked about their defense, but their defense has also been pretty good this year. And again, guys like Giannis and Brook Lopez are fucking destroying the paint. I do think their perimeter defense could use a little bit of work, which again is a reason why you get Alex Caruso. Now, I've thought about this for a while, and I think there's one more thing that Milwaukee could do to improve their lineup, and that's playing Thanasis more. Okay, all troll shit aside, I think Milwaukee's in a great position right now. I mean, seriously, if you waited 5 to 10 games to judge a team and then you didn't even want to have a little bit of patience, I feel like there's a lesson to be learned. Don't judge teams to start off the year. Wait 20 to 30 games. That's when you'll finally find out about the real teams in the NBA. Like Orlando, remember when people thought they were a fraudulent team? Well, they're still a playoff team. And speaking of teams that have been interesting in the standings is the Phoenix Suns. And last year, I actually made a video about the Suns. It was like 2 weeks ago. But if you guys want to check it out, the video is going to be on the screen right here.